So today we have a battle of the two most popular blue fresh fragrances from the house of Parfums de Marly. Undoubtedly, it's Percival and Sedley. Like I just mentioned, these for the most part are going to be the most popular, most talked about fresh offerings from them. They do have a few more. They have Galloway and I believe a couple others, but these two are kind of the big deals when it comes to their summer releases, and well, there's a reason why. They're modeled after the popular blue fragrance, compliment-getting, mass-appealing type of scent. These each are a bit similar, but they're also quite a bit different, more so than you would think. And it's one of those things where, I've talked about them equally on the channel. I kind of go back and forth on which one I like better, because the reality is both of them smell fantastic. I mean, neither of these fragrances smell bad. It's hard to choose one over the other. They're just modeled after a type of scent DNA that is just supposed to smell really good, really wearable, and that's what both of these are. And trust me, that'll make it hard for some of you to make a decision if you have to choose between one or the other. These aren't really necessarily cheap fragrances. I will link them both down below to Fragrance Discounter so you can get them at a discounted price compared to retail, but keep in mind, they're still not cheap. So if you have to choose between one or the other and you can't get them both at the same time, maybe this video will help you out, or maybe it won't help you at all and you'll still just end up wanting to get both all at once like I did, because like I said, it's hard to choose between these. They both smell great. So let's go and start off with Sedley, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to list off a few of the prominent fragrance notes, at least to me personally. You have mint, rosemary, ambroxan, and citrus notes. So I'm not going to go into it. I think there's bergamot, there's some orange, and a few other types of citrus, but I'm really just going to lump them up together and just say that it's citrus. Those are, to me, kind of the main accords I get from the scent. To me, this one is going to be a bit more bright, a bit more vibrant, and a bit more effervescent overall, kind of is how I describe it. This one is actually classified as a woody aromatic. I don't really get too many woods out of it. To me, it's pretty fresh, pretty vibrant. It's got this kind of juicy citrus going on, a nice refreshing green mint, and the rosemary, which I think is a great note. I love the note of rosemary and scent. It's utilized great in here. And of course, it's all on top of a lavender base. Both of these fragrances utilize lavender quite a bit, so I just kind of left that out. But yes, lavender is prominent in this one, and it's also going to be prominent in Percival as well. So for Percival, a few of the prominent notes to me is going to be fir, ambroxan, citrus, and amberwood. So amberwood / ambroxan oftentimes are kind of considered the same thing. They smell pretty similar, but for me, I pick up on both of them in this fragrance. Now, of course, like I just mentioned, you get a lot of the lavender from this one as well. And what I also get is just a ton of musk. There's hedione in here as well, and there's just a lot of musk going on in this fragrance. This one, out of the two, is going to be, to me, a lot more heavy on the aroma chemicals. Both of them are. Both of them are going to use aroma chemicals, and to be honest with you, a lot of modern fragrances use aroma chemicals. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not me calling the fragrance synthetic or anything. But I am saying that you can tell, in this one especially, in Percival, there's a ton of aroma chemicals in here. You can just tell when you smell it, the way it kind of behaves in the air, the way it develops. There's a lot going on in terms of aroma chemicals in this one. It's very musky, and it's just got somewhat of a kind of a fuzzy type of smell to it is kind of one way you can describe it. And you can really tell just kind of how it's composed. This one kind of has a clean linens type of smell, like clean clothes, out of the shower, that sort of thing. Just kind of clean, fresh, and soapy. This one is a bit more citrusy, green, minty, vibrant. Still, the ambroxan is in there, so it does kind of have a clean and fresh type of smell, but to me, it's not quite as soapy as Percival is. So for really hot summer days, or just when I'm going to be primarily going outside in the summer when it's particularly warm, I'm going to be going with something like Sedley. I don't know, it just kind of behaves better in the high heat for me, and it just is a bit more refreshing. On the other hand, Percival for me is going to be one of those scents where if I'm going to be indoors, kind of casual, wanting to smell clean and fresh, I'll go for it. Will I wear it outside in the summer? Of course. It still is going to work great outside in the heat, but my preference is going to be Sedley. For me, I like the way how this one develops better in the high heat versus Percival. Just kind of a personal preference thing here, just the development on my skin in the heat. I prefer Sedley, but you can go with either one. That's the thing about this video, and why it was something where I wanted to make it, was because both these fragrances are great. They're both extremely versatile, and both can work for literally any situation. Either of these scents can be a signature scent type of thing where you don't really have to think about it. You just wear it any time of the year and it's going to work. They're very clean, very fresh, and these types of scents are really designed for that. Of course, Parfums de Marly has a bunch of other offerings in their lineup that you can use for fall, for winter, which as a fragrance enthusiast, that's kind of what we do. But if you want just one fragrance from the house particularly to just wear for anything and just kind of have very versatile and really get your money's worth, to be honest with you, either of these fragrances are going to work for that, and it just is all about finding your personal preference on which one you like better. So performance on these fragrances, let's go ahead and cover that. Sedley, this one is a interesting topic because when it first came out, allegedly it didn't perform that good, and then they reformulated it and it actually made it better in performance. Longevity on my skin, about 6.5 to 7 hours. Not awful. It's not really, anything to rave about, but it gets the job done, I suppose. In terms of projection, it's not a room filler, but it's not a skin scent either. It kind of falls in between where more sprays and a bit of heat will get it to project out, whereas, if you're wearing it indoors in the cooler air, it'll still project a little bit, but not quite as much. It's just kind of in that middle range depending on what you're wearing it for. And Percival, on my skin, longevity-wise, about 7 to 7.5, sometimes pushing 8. It's one of those things where sometimes it'll start to fade away to me personally because I'll start to go a little bit nose blind to it. Not as much as some others, but I do to some extent. So it could be lasting a bit longer than the 8-hour mark. It kind of breaks down to just a lot of that muskiness towards the end there. The muskiness and some of the aroma chemicals is kind of what lingers on my skin, kind of past the 8-hour mark. So just right around the 7 to 8 hour mark, maybe a bit more. Projection is going to be about the same as I described for Sedley. A few extra sprays in the heat is going to project pretty good. In the climate-controlled air conditioning, you're going to get a little bit of projection, but it's not going to be a room filler. So performance on both of these is, about what you would expect really for blue, fresh type of fragrances like this. They're not on the same level as like Sauvage, Aqua Atlantique, Dylan Blue, that sort of thing, but they're pretty close, and I can't really complain. They smell good to me to where kind of okay performance doesn't really bug me. But on the other hand, the argument is you're paying this amount of money, you want better performance, and that I completely agree. Look, if you want better performance, you can get that at a cheaper cost. With these, you're paying a bit more money, you're getting a more niche fragrance, you're getting niche quality, niche presentation, all that stuff. So it's really just up to you and depends on how much you prioritize performance. So anyone out there who knows more about the Sedley reformulation than I do, you can leave a comment down below saying what you get from your new bottle versus your old. So to go ahead and start to wrap this video up here, final thoughts on, Percival versus Sedley. It's 100% personal preference. That's what it boils down to, and that's really what it boils down to in a lot of situations when I'm doing these, versus videos for the most part. There's some where, they'll release a flanker and it just sucks, and then I can say, hey, go for the other one instead. Sometimes that happens, but most of the time it really is a personal preference thing, and it especially is here with this one. Both of these are going to be mass appeal and compliment getters. Both of these are going to be super versatile, easy to wear. Both these are going to be just great for summertime as well. It just really comes down to which one you like better. That's about it. Performance may play a little bit of a factor for you as well, but it's just totally up to you. It's your personal preference. If you want the better performer, on my personal skin, that would be Percival. On you, it may be different. It's just something you're going to have to go out and test. Get samples of these, try them out, and see how your skin reacts and see how you like it personally. So that's pretty much going to do it for me, guys. Percival versus Sedley. Check them both out. They're both great fragrances. I'll link them both down below to FragranceNet, where you're going to get generally the best price on these. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know by leaving a like and comment. And that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow night with another one. Take care.